That's right. Yes, my friend G. Patrick Khan, and this is part of the show where we go into the chronicles. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we thank you very much. Check us out on our Patreon page. We'll have the link for you at the end of this video. But for now, my friend, let's roll right into it. This is Mind Games from 1996. Almost 20, what, is it 24 years to the day, I believe it is?
Let me do the math here. What year 28? Are we living in right now?
It is 2024, and this pay-per-view was 1996.
Yeah, so what you do is you add on 2, right, to get to 2026. That's an even number. Then you take off 10. Then you take off 10. Then you take off, I don't know, man. Look.
Pretty sure it's 28 years, I think. 28 years.
Is it?
It's got to be. Yeah, we'll say that. But if we're wrong, if we're wrong.
Somebody in the nation, there you go. If you are able to give us that exact number of how many years it is in the comments, we will send you a pack of BWF rolling papers. How about that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, right. Yes. Before you get into it, let's go to camera 2. Just show the people here. That's right. We're doing wide shots. We got a producer. We got a wide shot of the studio. That's Musgrave, AM. We call him AM because he's the first one up all morning long. All right, let's go back to me. No mean mugging at my cameras there, Andrew. Okay, yes. So Mind Games, an in-your-house spectacular. As we said in the intro, this is the original Forbidden Door. But what door is forbidden and who's coming through it, Bishop? That's the big question. Break it down for us.
We will get right into it. But yes, I almost forgot about this original Forbidden Door until I was going back through this pay-per-view. This pay-per-view is actually the very first pay-per-view I ever saw live as a kid back in 1996. So
it took a while before Gander got those.
I didn't even see this in Newfoundland. I had to go in. I was in BC at the time. I was visiting family in British Columbia, and he happened to have pay-per-view, so that's why I got to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And well, I guess we'll get into it. What you thought of it back then compared to now, because it is a forgotten gem. But those that know that it's a great main event, and it's one of Mick Foley's personal favorite matches as well, I believe.
Mick Foley calls it his greatest match. So we will see if it holds up. This is held at Philadelphia. Almost 15,000 people, the highest attended in your house pay-per-view event up to that point. We start off the show with Vince, JR, and Mr. Perfect hyping it up. And an ECW chant already breaks out from the crowd.
Oh, yeah. And so immediately, okay, just to set it up, we are in Philadelphia. This is where ECW is. ECW has been around for a couple of years at this point, and it's a very heavy ECW crowd, obviously, that have bought tickets to this show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a very fan-friendly, like a very kid-friendly product of the WWF in recent years. Between 1993 and 96, it's been very bland, very kid-friendly. ECW, of course, the exact opposite.
Now, is this the first time that ECW would appear on WWE programming?
I do believe so. If it's not, it might be King of the Ring 95. I know that the crowd in Philly that night was chanting ECW a lot. I cannot remember for the life of me if there was an ECW person on camera or not. I don't think so. I do believe that this is the very first time ECW talent has been shown on camera. Vince is acknowledging it on commentary as well. So I know he didn't acknowledge it the first time if they did.
Yeah. And so is this in response to the NWO that's happening down in WCW at the time?
Vince needed a spark to the product, and secretly he was funding ECW as like a farm system behind the scenes. So yeah, he decided to team up with Paul E., Mr. Paul Heyman, and kick down the Forbidden Door. This would lead to the ECW invasion, the original ECW invasion of 1997. People forget about that. There was one before 2001. where we saw originally Rob Van Dam and Jeff Hardy on Raw. But nonetheless, that's another story for a different day. We are here to talk about Mind Games. And the very first match on that pay-per-view was a Caribbean strap match between Justin Hawk Bradshaw, who would later go on to be known as JBL, with Uncle Zebekiah, versus our buddy.
Our guy. Enemy of the show, Vega. Really. Our enemy of the show. Frenemy, I guess. I don't know. We never really resolved that issue with him, I don't think. But Savio did give some nice insight before going into business for himself. Aaron, how was the match? This is after the Stone Cold stuff, though, right?
This is after, yeah, exactly.
So this is kind of match.
Kevin Kelly, he interviews Savio as Bradshaw makes his entrance. Savio is fired up. Savio had beaten, as I said, or as you just mentioned, Steve Austin a few months earlier in the same match. Perfect points out that Savio already had a dark match earlier in the evening against Marty Jannetty. JBL interfered in that match, and thus this is why we have this match. It's a really weird flex to get to a pay-per-view opener, but here we are. Savio, he slides into the ring and Bradshaw jumps him and starts whipping him as Vince and JR yell at the ref to stop this until both men get their wrists attached to the strap.
Wait now, okay, so it's the opening match and Vince is already yelling for them to stop the damn match kind of thing?
Right, yeah.
Wow, it is a lot. That is a lot for the opening match.
Savio continues to get whipped as JR goes over the rules. Basically, like most strap matches, as you have to drag your opponent and touch all four corners. Savio gets dumped to the floor, and the ECW chant starts again as we see Tommy Dreamer, Sandman, and Paul E. sitting in the front row.
Now, are these guys acknowledged by Vincent on immediately? They're wearing the ECW stuff, obviously. Vince is pointing out them immediately, or no?
Well, Bradshaw gets pulled into the ring post, and then the Sandman spits beer in Savio's face. It's at this point where Vince lets us know that there's a local wrestling group in Philly that is trying to make a name for themselves at the expense of the WWF. And thus, the forbidden door has been kicked open.
There you go. Now, with the strap match, they recently had another one, which was Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. And this isn't the first time they've done this, but they have the big goofy lights that go on when somebody hits a turnbuckle. Is that the case here?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
It seems like a real goofy thing to have in a strap match, you know? I find that it takes away from the seriousness of it when it makes it look like it's a game show at that point.
Yeah, it makes it look like a cartoon. I think a strap match already sucks as it is. It's like, I don't know, when you think of wrestling, you think of two people who are fighting to settle their difference, and you want to make it as real as possible. There's not people at a bar who go, hey man, let's fucking go outside. First person to touch four turnbuckles wins, kind of thing. It's stupid.
Yeah, and now, I mean, and that is a WWF thing, is it? Because when CM Punk and MJF did theirs, that wasn't that was a pinfall, right? Their strap match was pinfall, yeah. Because it's just supposed to be, the whole point of it is that they can't run away from each other, and it's not this, like, touch the four.
No, exactly. Like stuff like it. But they had a dog collar match too, though. I don't think it was a strap match. I think it's a dog collar match. But either way, same shit, different match, right? Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, yeah.
Hey, okay. Look, it's the same to me. I don't know why. And really, I don't even know why you pointed that out, Aaron. That's just making me. And this is on the free stuff too, so our entire audience is going to mock me now. Thank you for that.
My apologies. But yeah, getting back to the rundown here of the match, the ECW guys, they get ejected by security, and the ECW chant goes again.
Nice.
Yes.
So they're already out by the first match. Do we see them again?
No.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Back inside the ring, we see Bradshaw dragging Savio around. but his momentum is stopped by a belly-to-back suplex. Now Savio whips Bradshaw for a bit, and credit to them as they are actually laying it into each other. Savio gets 2 corners rather easily and uses his foot to get a third, but gets cut off going for the 4th. The crowd is still distracted by the ECW guys getting forced at the arena. Savio catches Bradshaw with a spinning heel kick and gets 3 corners with ease. He runs for the 4th. JBL gives a yank, causing Savio to do a U-turn. We see a clothesline from hell, and now he touches a corner. Savio just follows him behind and touches a corner as well. Both men touch 3, and it's a battle for the 4th one, and Bradshaw catapults Savio into the corner by accident, as he did not know Savio was following him, and that ends the match.
That's the end of every strap match. And it doesn't make any sense because if
you can really feel the weight. You're bringing the guy behind you. You obviously, your common sense would think that he's touching the turnbuckles. Oh, it's so, you're right. It's stupid.
But it would also cancel each other out too, right? Like it's not like whoever gets to the 4th one is going to win. Then Bradshaw should be at 0 because if Savio is overtaking him with each thing, they both can't be triggering them at the same time, right?
You would think. Logically, okay. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, this is why I'll never forgive Savio Vega. Nonsense.
This is nonsense. Yeah. So next we see a video package for Jim Cornette and Jose Lothario. This is an offshoot of Shawn Michaels' feuds with Cornette's talents over the summer. Yes, we get Jose Lothario and Jim Cornette. Cornette comes out in a red spandex suit with all kinds of padding underneath. He does what he does best as he grabs a mic and runs down the crowd. Jose, before giving Jose a chance to back out of the match. Jose was just shy of his 62nd birthday at the time of this. I don't know why he's doing this, why they're doing this, but Jose lands a punch before the bell as Cornette charged after him. More punches from Jose as Cornette flops all over the place. JR compares Cornette to a giant Twinkie. We get another right hand from Jose. And another one after that. And this match is over at 56 seconds.
That's good. At least it wasn't a long time that they were there. Cornette does not look like in great shape again. Like
it is padding, yes, but still
yeah.
Is
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had all kinds of padding.
Wait now, and Jose Lothario is not wearing a shirt at all.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah.
The poor ECW crowd, man, at the show.
Are they hating on this?
I don't think they're liking it up to this point, but that's about to change. As Brian Pillman comes down to the ring, Philly is really happy to see him. Vince throws to a video of Bret Hart in South Africa as he calls Pillman a liar for promising he would be in Philly for the pay-per-view. Pillman gets on a live mic, and of course that's always fun. He trashes Philly. He calls it a cesspool of drug abuse, battered women, and welfare recipients.
Yeah.
Classic Pillman.
Back up for a second here. So who called who a liar for saying they were going to be in Philadelphia?
Oh, Vince called Pillman a liar for saying Bret was going to be in Philly.
Oh, I understand. Okay, and Bret is in South Africa, which huge, over as big as the Beatles at the time. Bret Hart was. So now Brian Pillman is loved by the ECW crowd. Did we ever cover Brian Pillman's whole shtick of like how he left WCW and tricked Eric Bischoff into releasing him to go to ECW, where he would go and have these, he appeared in the, lights cut out, they come back on, he's in the ring, he starts swearing like he's Aaron Bishop on Patreon. And he gets over real good with the crowd before signing with the WWE. And in between there, he destroys his ankle. So he never really, gets off the ground wrestling-wise with the WWE.
No, his matches were really lackluster when he got to the WWE. And his feud with Goldust and everything else, they weren't great. So we saw not the best Brian Pillman. You're right. It was a sad ending, tragic ending to what was such a promising and a great career. But no, we have not gone into depth with Brian Pillman's stuff. We probably should on a future episode. It's a great idea. But I digress. In this,
I think we covered his death last week, though, right? In the last week's episode, he died right before that pay-per-view, before Bad Blood. Okay. Anyways, just to bring people some goodness. Put people in a good mood. All right, go
ahead. This is the promo. So Brian Pillman, he calls out Owen Hart, and then Stone Cold comes out to a lukewarm reaction, even though he just won the King of the Ring.
You wouldn't know. Where's the crown? And right? This guy, is he in the finals for our thing?
He is in the finals, yes, sir.
You wouldn't know. My God, this is just, I can't believe that you picked this of all pay-per-views on today of all episodes. Unbelievable. King Steve Austin. Anyways.
Since the King of the Ring, he had a feud with Yokozuna at SummerSlam. And here he is there a month later without a match on pay-per-view. So, I mean, the feud with Bret Hart really was his saving grace. But this is the old school promo, the classic one, where Stone Cold says, if you put the letter S in front of the Hitman, then you have my exact opinion of Bret Hart.
Brutal.
Next match is the WWF Tag Team titles. The Smoking Guns with Sonny versus the British Bulldog and Owen Hart.
Let's take a look at old Billy Gunn here. Bring up that photo for a second. Billy Gunn looks younger now and in better shape now than he does 28, 26, 24 years ago.
He does, though. Honest to God. Like, he really does. Great shape. And of course, Sonny was...
cannot say the same for Sonny.
No, Sonny's the exact opposite these days. Yeah. But back then, she was a smoke show. My good Lord.
That's why she's with the Smoking Guns.
After the match...
sympathy laugh. You didn't find that funny? Admit it.
I got your back, man. I got your back.
Thank you. Yeah, sometimes.
After the match with Jose Lothario, Jim Cornette is so delirious that he signs the rights to the British Bulldog and Owen Hart over to Clarence Mason so he can manage the team.
Okay.
Yeah, just a side note there. She has a giant picture of herself drop and has been defaced by the Bulldog and Owen. It actually wouldn't surprise me if Owen actually did that as a rib in real life.
Yeah, crazy.
Because she used to have that picture drop down all the time before the matches. So
yeah.
This match is decent. I remember this being really good as a kid. Going back on it now, it's okay. Clarence Mason is out, which distracts Owen, and he gets rolled up for 2. He goes to the corner of the British Bulldog, and Owen, as everyone else, seems to be confused as to what is happening. Owen drops Billy with an arm drag, and he gets a body press for 2. Tag to the Bulldog, and he goes to work on the knee as Vince reads Clarence Mason's business card. Bulldog gets the delayed suplex. Leg drop, but Billy makes the save. Owen doesn't tag in, but the ref doesn't see it, so it's all good. He works the knee. He gets caught with a small package for 2. Owen with an enziguri. The crowd is loving Owen and the Bulldog in this one. Classic Philly crowd. Bart gets pushed into Billy. Billy shoves him back right into the power slam for the win. And the Bulldog and Owen win the tag team championships at 11 minutes.
Wow.
Owen made sure to take Billy out so he couldn't break up the pin.
It's beautiful. Is this the first time that they won the championships?
I believe it might be the second time, but I could be wrong on that.
Okay.
I could be wrong. It's first or second. But
I don't know.
I loved Owen and Bulldog as a tag team. I thought they were really good.
Sure. Yes, me too.
Sonny actually ends up firing the Smoking Guns after this, and poor Billy is heartbroken. Oh. Kevin Kelly's in the boiler room of the building to get a word with Paul Bearer and Mankind. Bearer blames the fans for what happened to The Undertaker and for what will happen to Shawn tonight. Mankind promises misery, and he has his destiny awaiting himself. He lives to make Shawn Michaels miserable. But next, we see the debut of Mark Henry. That's right.
Ooh, wow. Oh, my God.
Mark Henry, yes.
Look at that ghoulish lower third graphic they got going on there. Mankind's mask.
Pretty cool.
Horrific. So, yeah, that's pretty funny that they got Mark Henry out here looking like this. What were your thoughts on Mark Henry when he first came in?
Oh, I thought he was trash.
Did it ever improve for you?
I like the sexual chocolate character. And I liked the World's Strongest Man, Mark Henry, when he was going for the world title against John Cena, when he had his fake retirement and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty iconic, yeah.
That's a really good Mark Henry as well. And even his stuff against The Undertaker was half decent. But no, there's a lot of versions of Mark Henry that I didn't enjoy. This version, the stuff with Rodney Mack, I think he was a tag team with Rodney Mack at one point. I don't know, there's just a lot of dumb stuff with Mark Henry, including this.
Yeah. So who's Mark taking on in his debut match?
Jerry the King Lawler.
Right. Yes. Okay. And
Lawler cuts a promo, of course, as he makes his way to the ring, just like every other Jerry the King Lawler match on pay-per-view.
Yeah. What's he saying about him?
Oh, just shitting on the crowd.
I don't know.
There you go. Thank you. That's so great. Lawler, he tells Henry that he's going to start the match with a headlock. Henry breaks it rather easily and slaps on his own side headlock.
Look
Lawler,
at that.
Right? Look at that.
Not a very good one, actually. He's not cinched it in.
No, he doesn't have the knuckles or the fingers locked in. Yeah, no. Very, very sloppy, very green. Lawler, he will reverse the hammerlock, and then Henry reverses to one of his own. Lawler stalls some more, and then he goes for a slam, which is rather stupid. Henry then goes for a slam of his own, and Lawler sells it as you would expect. Shoulder block goes nowhere. Then again, Henry sidesteps a third try, and Lawler basically throws himself outside of the ring and takes a nasty bump head first into the railing. That was actually pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Lawler is back with a foreign object. Henry takes a few shots, but that only angers him, so he lands some knees and then some chops. Henry gets an overhead body vice / backbreaker for the submission at 5 minutes and 13 seconds.
Look at that. That looks pretty good. I'll give him that.
Short, sweet, and to the point.
Yes, sir. All right.
Okay. The next month, Vince is promoting already. It's going to be the Buried Alive pay-per-view. And he announces that the main event will be the first unsanctioned match in WWE history, The Undertaker and Mankind in that said Buried Alive match. The WWF title will not be on the line should Mankind win it tonight. I like that. It gives you more of anybody can win kind of feeling in this match tonight against Shawn Michaels.
Cool.
Yeah. Let's see. The next match is the final curtain match. Goldust versus The Undertaker. Go ahead. Sorry. I think I say something.
Well, I mean, I do have something to say. There's a lot of gimmick matches happening in this pay-per-view. Do you think they're doing that for the ECW crowd, trying to get them, get the guys, the boys outside of the ring? I'm saying this like I know what a final curtain match is. What is a final curtain match? What's the gimmick?
It's just a fancy name for a no disqualification match.
Yeah. Okay.
The match has to end by pinfall. That's the only rule.
All right.
But yeah, probably a lot of gimmick matches for the Philly crowd, the ECW crowd. But Paul Bearer,
they're still not happy, are they? Are the crowd?
No.
Yeah.
No. Paul Bearer just turned on Taker the previous month at SummerSlam, and Taker is rather pissed off. Goldust and Mankind, they had a weird pairing where Mankind would call Goldust mommy, and they just made life miserable for the Undertaker. And this is part 1 of the
Yeah.
Taker Revenge Tour.
Right. So this is a pretty iconic photo. In that I always see people posting it, and the joke is like, try explaining to non-wrestling fans what's going on here.
How can you?
Yeah. Very strange.
Very strange. Before the bell, Taker drops Goldust with the right hand, and he starts beating him in the corner. Taker lands more strikes and drops a leg for a 2 count. Goldust tries to bail and gets brought back to the apron, but is able to drop Taker's neck and throat on the top ropes. Marlena throws a slap in for good measure. Back in the ring, Goldust gets a swinging neckbreaker, but Taker sits up and is on his feet before Goldust. A big boot from Taker, and then a suplex gets a close 2 count. Hip toss from Taker, and then we go old school. Goldust gets dumped to the floor. He grabs Marlena's purse, and after a distraction from Marlena, he tosses glitter in the Undertaker's eyes.
Wow. Now, in a normal match, that'd be enough for you to get disqualified. But where this is a final curtain match, so it goes. It's good.
It's good. It's all gravy.
If I could I take you back to Aaron Bishop in Vancouver, in BC, watching this pay-per-view? What do you remember what you were thinking for this match at this time? Who were you going for?
Honestly, I don't.
A Goldust fan, were you?
No, I was not a Goldust fan.
Yes, you were.
I was not a Goldust fan. You give it up. If anybody's a Goldust fan, I think you were the Goldust fan.
I also enjoy Goldust. We actually had to argue back and forth as young children over who would get to be the Goldust guy, who out of us got to bring him in. So for you to turn around now at this day and age and act as if you were not a fan of his is the heights of bull.
I like Goldust.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I like Goldust like 2002, 2003, like his Tourette stuff.
No, you didn't. You liked the original.
That stuff was good.
You liked the original.
No,
yes, you did. Look, I'm not saying that you were gay because you liked it.
God.
Because I don't even think we knew he was trying to be gay at that point. Right? Did you? I don't know if your mom had that talk with us at that point yet.
At that point, no. I don't think we had that talk yet.
I didn't know anything about all that. That's true. Aaron's mom was the one that told us how gay men had sex on a walk once. I had no idea.
Did it look like this?
It was a little
something like that. Yeah, exactly.
A little bit like that. Yes. She didn't describe it with nearly as much passion, though. It wasn't as erotic as that. So, anyways, Aaron, if you want to pretend as if you were not a Goldust fan as a child, that's fine by me. I was. I loved the look. I was a big movie fan back then, too, which maybe you weren't even a movie fan back then. Maybe that's what you'll try to pull off. But Goldust was good, and I don't know. I would have thought that you were going for Goldust in this match. That's all. Let's just bring that up. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh my, where are we? Yeah, Goldust is up in the corner. Taker catches him, and he gives him a vicious choke slam off the second rope.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yes, and he'll follow that up with a tombstone. This match will end at 10 minutes and 26 seconds with little to no violent action.
No.
I don't know why they even call it no DQ match.
Yeah, I don't know either. Make it a casket match or something. But cool. All right, there you go. And so would you say that the winner of that match goes on to be a number one contender?
No, nothing. They just had this feud. To be honest, they had a casket match a few months earlier where Goldust actually beat Taker, I do believe. No, Taker beat Goldust?
Yeah.
No, Goldust beat Taker. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This feud was shit.
Aaron, if the WWE Hall of Fame was legitimate and they only allowed in the best of the best, it was like the Baseball Hall of Fame, does Goldust get into that Hall of Fame?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, okay. I do.
Well, at least You can admit to that. What do we got next?
Thank God it's the main event. Yes, right. The WWF title main event. Shawn Michaels with Jose Lothario versus Mankind with Paul Bearer. Druids roll out a casket as Paul Bearer trails behind, and Mankind pops out of the casket to some shrieks from children in the crowd. Love it. Love to see it. Yeah. I love this original Mankind character. It's really cool. Yeah. Very unique.
How does Philadelphia, because I mean, Cactus Jack, ECW mainstay, iconic. People were disappointed when he left to go to the WWF. They feared that they were going to ruin Mick Foley. And, is this another kind of situation where it's like Sid against Shawn Michaels in MSG, where like the crowd is just going to love Mick Foley?
The crowd is hot in this match, and they love Shawn Michaels here. They absolutely love him. Yeah. A lot of boos for Mankind, but it's not like bad go away heat. Like the fans are into the match. It's a great match. Yeah.
Cool.
I find it funny how right away JR says that Mankind as WWF champion would be challenging to market. If they only knew how big Mick Foley would become.
Yeah, and then you got Tony Schiavone just kind of echoing that. Now that's one of the things that people always remember about him. JR was the first one to say it.
Right? Yeah. He buried him on his own show.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shawn gets a great reaction from the Philly crowd. Vince actually compares it to the Flyers winning the Stanley Cup.
Vince has no idea what the Flyers are or what a Stanley Cup is.
No,
somebody wrote that for him.
Shawn does a great job of conveying that he is nervous and apprehensive as this one starts. Mankind lands an elbow to the face and then stomps away. Shawn gets sent flying with a backdrop, and then the cactus clothesline sends both men to the floor. Shawn charges and gets kicked into the railing. Mankind tears up the blue mat on the floor, but Shawn drop kicks him and then stomps on Mankind as he's trapped under the mat.
Nice. Yes. So here we go. Now this is 96. This is not normal for a WWF match. This kind of violence, this kind of ripping up the mats and sort of thing. I mean, by today's standards, probably pretty tame, but shocking at the time.
Definitely out of the box for 1996 WWF match. Definitely you wouldn't see this kind of stuff, especially not in your WWF pay-per-view main events. Mm-hmm. Coming off the Hogan era, coming off the Bret era now, this is just something that fans aren't used to seeing. And my God, if you haven't seen a Shawn Michaels match, especially from 1996 or 1997 in a while, go back and watch this match. It's crazy. I almost forget how good Shawn actually is or was back then. I mean, literally nobody can touch this man. He is one of the greatest of all time for a reason, and he is at his peak during this time frame, and he is at his peak during this match. I cannot tell you how good he is. But getting back to the action, Shawn will hit a crossbody to the floor, and he splats Mankind's head off the concrete. Back in the ring, Shawn comes off the top again, this time with a double axe handle. Mankind misses a clothesline, and Michaels fires off some right hands, followed by a clothesline of his own. Shawn hits a slam and then heads up again. He drops the Shawn Michaels elbow and preps for sweet chin music, but Mankind knows what's coming and he dives to the floor. He's rocking back and forth out there with the urn as he gets advice from Paul Bearer.
Oh, yeah. What does Paul's advice say? Do you know?
Keep avoiding sweet chin music, I guess. I don't know. Avoid that kick. I don't know.
Yeah. That wasn't a fair one. A fair one. Okay. So, okay. Yep. Continue on, please.
Mankind goes back inside and the brawl is back on again. We get an unusual spot here where it looks like Mankind screwed up and Shawn throws a tantrum. This was a way to work the fans after a real issue like that happened with Shawn and Vader at SummerSlam the month prior.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Interesting. Cool.
Doing a lot of little things for the Philly crowd. I love it. Mankind nearly gets the mandible claw, but Sean stops that with a well-placed elbow, ground and pound from Sean for a bit, but Mankind just clocks him with the right hand to the floor again, and Mankind pulls the announce table out a little bit. Sean dives over the table with a flying forearm and hits a suplex that sends Mankind's leg into the steps. After that brutal spot, we go back inside, and Sean goes to a chop block and then rams Mankind's damaged knee on the top of the casket. Michaels continues to work the knee and even shoves the ref because, let's be real, pissed off Shawn Michaels is the best Shawn Michaels. Figure 4 follows, and you can hear some boos from the fans in Philly. Mankind nearly gets counted out, but gets his shoulder off the mat and turns the hold to reverse the pressure. Michaels drop kicks the bad knee. He goes to a half crab, but Mankind gets to the ropes to force a break. Mankind lands a shot, and he gets caught with the crucifix into a sunset flip for 2. Sean charges again and ends up getting dropped throat first on the top rope. Mankind gets a pen from Paul Bearer and he starts stabbing his knee over and over again to get the feeling back into it. Mankind is just full of awesome character touches, man. Like, it's just so good. So many layers to this guy. It's so great. This gimmick is awesome. He then sends Sean to the floor, and he slaps at his knee some more. Mankind hammers away in the corner, and he hits the running knee that looked like it destroyed Sean's face. The replay made it look even better, and Vince makes sure to point out Sean's concussion history. Mankind bites Sean, and then fires him face first into the mat. Mankind misses a running knee and connects with the steps. They both end up on the apron, and Mankind ends up going head first into the post. Back in the ring, Sean hits a power slam for 2. Mankind then gets sent into the ropes, and his head gets trapped. He gets caught in there, and it's the same move that cost him his ear versus Vader.
Cool, yeah. It's an infamous-looking spot there. Very gnarly.
Mm-hmm. He did it so good, too, man. Everything that Foley did was so believable. Sean, he walks right into the mandible claw. Both men are down. They head to the floor. Mankind gets the mandible claw again. Sean uses a chair to smash the claw hand and then bites the claw. This is great stuff. Sean is stomping away until the guard actually comes off Mankind's hand, to which it shows it was never really disfigured. JR tries to cover by saying it was actually the other hand. Sean, right? Who cares? Like, who cares? Yeah. Sean gets backdropped to the floor, and Mankind drops the cactus elbow from the apron to the floor. Mankind hits a sick neck breaker. Sean tries to crawl through the ropes, but Mankind is there with a leg drop. Double arm DDT, near fall. Spike pile driver gets another 2 count, and then another. I loved Mankind's pile driver. It looks so good. Look at Sean there. Look, he's just like, this neck is just
crumpled. Yeah.
God, yeah. Sold it so good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, here's where it starts getting really good. Mankind is frustrated as he starts pulling his hair out. Classic Mankind. ECW chant breaks out for the hair pulling.
By the way.
Sacrilege.
Yes. Son of a bitch. All right.
Mankind starts tossing some chairs into the ring, but the ref tosses them back out. Mankind opens the casket, and the crowd freaks out as Sean gets tossed inside.
But this is not a casket match.
No, not a casket match.
It's not even a no DQ match, right?
No, not even. He fights back, and the war just continues. His flying forearm from Sean, a slam, back up to the top for a crossbody that gets a 2 count. Sean does get crotched on the top rope. Mankind heads to the apron, and we get an awesome spot where Mankind tries a belly to back, but Sean turns midair, and they both crash through the Spanish announce table. This spot is still crazy to this very day. It was probably one of the bigger spots up to this point in WWF history. Back then
they were doing it all the time, right? Like, I mean, Brett had done that spot with
Diesel in '95.
In '95, and then this was probably the next time that
the second one. Yeah, exactly. So fans were not used to this, and as I said, it's still an awesome spot to this very day. Bear distracts the ref as Mankind brings in a chair, but Sean hits sweet chin music to send the chair back into Mankind's face. As you can see there, Sean actually had to leap off another chair, so it was like a super
cool.
sweet chin music. Yeah.
Nice.
Sean gets off the cover, though, as Vader runs in for the DQ at 26-24. The only blemish to this match is this.
Yeah, now, I mean,
finish.
why did they do the schmaz finish?
Probably because they didn't want Mankind to lose any heat, and they didn't want Sean to lose. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, obviously they didn't want Sean to lose, but it would do Sean so much more to beat
Mankind. But Mankind just beat Taker, so they had to keep him strong for Taker going into Survivor Series.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, and Vader, though, I guess at that point they thought that maybe Vader would still be taking on Sean and beating Sean at Survivor Series. So, but it was all for naught in the end.
Speaking of Vader's down there, and Sid comes out and takes out Vader. Mankind gets up and he takes out Sid, but then all of a sudden we see the casket open up and it's the Undertaker. The fans blow the roof off the place.
Nice little
Mankind is screwed, right? Yeah. Taker stalks Mankind to the back as Sean is announced the winner.
Paul Bearer never had an issue selling for somebody. Look at him.
So good.
Cool. Good. So I guess this was probably the handover then from Vader to Sid. So the decision had already been made.
Yeah.
There you go. And that's it. That's this week's Chronicles. Aaron, your overall takeaways from the Mind Games pay-per-view. I mean, from the way that you vividly described, it seems like certainly in the timeline of things, one of the better in your house pay-per-views, and it sounds like one of the better pay-per-views WWE has done generally. I mean, the opening match seemed pretty interesting. Tag match was okay. Taker and Goldust in a whatever match, and then this one of the match of the year contenders in the main event.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, the opening match was decent. I love the part where Sonny fires the smoking guns, and said the tag match was decent as well. So yeah, and of course the main event was just pure awesomeness, even with the schmaz finish. This is Mankind's favorite match. Dave Meltzer gave it a 4.75. I love this match too. Yeah.
Oh, I guess because of the Well, there you go. And so, Bish, your final takeaway is Mind Games. You liked it back then. Worth the watch.
I liked it as a kid. Definitely worth the watch. Now, especially that Shawn Michaels and Mankind match. And any wrestling fan needs to go back and watch that match. And just for historical value, go back and watch the original Forbidden Door get kicked wide open.
Now, I got to say, before we end this off, I mean, we promoted this as the original Forbidden Door, but the door was kicked open and closed almost immediately. It's like one of those things where, like, somebody kicks open the door and then it comes back and slaps them in the face. It was big. It was introduced and taken care of in that first match.
True, but it would lead to the other stuff with ECW. Within the year, they would have debate. Paul Heyman would come on Superstars and have debates with Jerry Lawler, and then of course we'd have the ECW Raw Invasion.
I love that.
So that's all great stuff. Yeah.
And there you go. And as Bishop says, if you are a real wrestling fan, then you will go back now and watch that pay-per-view. Thank you.
Wrestling fans, subscribe to this amazing channel by clicking on the bell below. And when you're done watching this, go ahead and like it. If you leave a comment, you can win a free t-shirt. Then do yourself a favor and go look at our amazing Patreon page for free with a 7-day trial. You'll see first-person experiences from a multitude of wrestling events over the past 20 years, along with videos that any action figure collector would love to see. Finally, you can catch up on all of our previous episodes at BWFpodcast.com.